It's Sunday, July 12th. Kind of a decent morning here in Northeast Ohio. It's a little bit warm, but when the wind blows, it's nice. Looks like we're gonna have a sunny day. Probably gonna heat up again. Still a little bit dry. I got in my watering this morning. Got in my coffee in the news, and I heard that Senator Lindsey Graham passed away. I think he was a senator of South Carolina, and he was in office as a senator for a couple decades, and I think he was a representative for South Carolina previous to that. So he was like 70, 71 years old, pretty young for um, a person to die nowadays, I think. And it was sudden, it was a heart attack, I believe, but he probably had the best of medical care, and kind of makes you wonder, no matter how good your doctors are, maybe they're missing something. But anyway, I don't know if I agreed with his politics or not, but um, prayers go out to his family. I'm sure he'll be missed by his family and friends. Okay, I'm back over to this project that I completed a couple days ago. It didn't turn out as good as I hoped, but we'll see what it looks like after it's had a chance to settle in and maybe get some moss and stuff growing. It may look a little better. But I think down the road, another project I'm going to do here is, as I was digging in this wet area, I scared up a frog, and I thought, how neat would it be to maybe have an area here dug out for a frog pond. Always like listening to frogs and watching them. Unfortunately, the big bass over in my pond drive them away. So I'll give this a chance to make sure I don't want to end up redoing it. And if it doesn't look good in a couple weeks, I'll rip it out, get some more stone, try to do something different. Then once I'm happy with that, I'll go ahead and put in the frog pond. So I should be able to get that done here in the next month or so. We never know when our time is going to be up. And with the senator, I hope he was in a good place with his family and he was right with God. I'm sure he didn't expect to not be here anymore. Just a few days ago, he was probably, well, actually, I think he had an interview set up with CNN or something like that. So, obviously he was expecting to live a lot longer, as we all do. We tend to think that even though someplace deep inside of us, we know our days are numbered, on the surface, we kind of act and feel like we're going to live forever. So, which kind of reminds me of a song. I play acoustic guitar. I'm not real great at it, but I'm not too bad. And I picked a few songs out that I liked over the years to learn to play. And one of them was James Taylor, Fire and Rain. And I think one of the lines in that song that probably hooked me, I mean, it's a good melodic song, but the line that hooked me is, I always thought I would see you again, see you one more time again. This is a couple different lines where he says that. And how true is that? I can remember December 18th, probably 3-4 years ago now. It doesn't matter because it's always going to seem like yesterday to me. We were putting up the Christmas tree. Nice winter evening, snow on the ground. We was actually going to get a pretty good storm that night. I got the call. My sister had a brain aneurysm, and she was in bad shape. And so we had to drive probably almost an hour down to where she was, and through a snowstorm and all. And we got there, and she was pretty much brain dead. So we said our goodbyes, and they unhooked her from life support, and she passed away. And I found myself wishing, that I was a better brother to her. So I don't know if that's a selfish thought or what. He or she lost her life, and I'm feeling sorry for myself. But anyway, that reminds me that, try to stay in relationship with your friends and loved ones. Try to always be on good terms, and even if you feel like they slighted you, let it slide, because you just never know when you may never see them again. Okay, I'm gonna run in, get another cup of coffee, and figure out something to get into. Just not sure what yet. Time to replace another pine tree out front. I've had several of them die here, like right in a row. This one I just replaced a couple weeks ago, and this other one here I replaced probably a week before that. I think the neighbors who walk their dogs around here, this is the country, they don't necessarily leave them on a leash. These three trees are kind of hidden by this tree right here, so I think they let their dogs come up and water them, and these white pine just are very salt intolerant, so definitely got to replace this one, and I'll get this other one in the ground. They'll have plenty of time to get established before winter. Now, about a week after I planted this one, I came out for my morning walk, and there was a painted turtle digging a nest right here and burying her eggs. So I knew exactly where that is. I didn't have to mark it, and I'm going to watch in about September sometime in that area. They should hatch. And then in the same day, I came out a little bit later, and there was another one laying her eggs right there. So I marked that with spray paint, and I'm going to keep an eye on that area too. So hopefully I'll be able to see them hatch in later in the fall. So, or I think I read that it happens to be too cold, or they said in colder climates, or if we have a cold spell, the turtles may decide just to stay underground until spring. Isn't that crazy? Just stay underground, stay warm, and then come out in the spring. So anyway, I'm going to replant this. Show you what it looks like when it's done. Okay, I got the tree planted, got it stepped in and watered real well, so it's going to be on its own now. If it stays dry like it is, I'll water it again in a couple days, but hopefully it'll grow up to be a big strong tree. And I'm going to grab one of my other white pines that I have over in the nursery pots and plant it back in this pot for future use, and I'll set it back on my deck. I'll show you how that looks after I get that done. I'm heading over to my little tree nursery to pick out a white pine to replace the one I just planted. So got quite a few little trees over there that I've purchased in the past through the local soil and water conservation district. They have a spring tree sale, and I usually order a few of this and that. I like to try to get some different trees. I think last year I got pawpaws and some red buckeye, and I've never seen them before. I've got them planted also. I can show you a little later. So here's my little tree nursery. Got some Norway spruce, blue spruce, and here's got about 5 white pine left. So I'm going to grab one of these, and it's going to find its new home in that pot. Okay, I don't think I'll just try this little guy here. Here's a little tree that I picked to replace in the pot for the one I planted out front. It'll do good in this pot for a few years, unless I need to plant him in his permanent home somewhere down the line. What I normally do is bring them in the winter into the garage, and they overwinter in the garage, and I bring them back out in the spring, and that's worked good for a few other ones that I have in pots. And this little planter bench, I built this out of scrap wood, I think 3 or 4 years ago, so it still looks nice, but it looked a lot nicer when I first did it. I try to keep, when I do a big job, I try to keep my scrap wood and usually figure out something I can build out of it. And this, I think this was entirely wood left over from which project, I'm not sure, but I didn't have to go buy anything. I was just able to scrounge up what I needed to do this, and I kind of just designed this in my head, and then I built it. Well, as you've seen, I got a few things done today. It was kind of a lazy day. It was very warm, but at least we had a north breeze that kept it from being stifling. I know the humidity is up quite a bit, but again, that north breeze really helped out. Well, it sounds like the Middle East is really heating up again. Kind of thought it would, and I'm sure that if it keeps going like it's going, that we're going to have boots on the ground here pretty soon, and it's just going to escalate from there. So I don't know if that increases the chance of us having a terrorist attack over here or not. You know, some homegrown deal, and it doesn't really even need to be close to you for it to affect you, because if it's big enough, or maybe in your state, whatever, it's going to incite panic, and people are going to run to the stores to buy up what they think they need, which they should have already had, and you should too. You know what you need for a week or two, and most people can afford to put that away. And it's just smart, because you don't want to be out there when people are running around panicked. And that goes for some sort of a outbreak of anything in your area, some sort of a Ebola outbreak or a hantavirus or all these other viruses I've been hearing about that are spreading around. You don't want to be out there exposing yourself to that, at least until they can get it under control. So having that extra food and water and whatever else, and don't forget about entertainment. I talked about that before. If you have some old DVDs with movies on it, definitely hang on to it. And I also have some thumb drives or flash drives or thumbsticks, whatever you call them. Got a few movies on them also, so I can just pop them into the TV, and the TVs don't take that much power. Just a small little solar generator will power it up, along with some lights, and hopefully you got something to keep your refrigerator going if there's a power outage. If it's just civil unrest or some sort of panic situation, then hopefully you'll still have power and not have to worry about that. But again, just take note of what you need for at least a week or so, maybe even maybe longer if you can afford it. And as far as food, things you want to eat, not things that you're not going to want to eat. So later on, if nothing happens, at least you got cans of food or whatnot that you can fix for a lunch or something like that. So I'm good for a while. So if something like that happens, I can lay low, not have to worry about subjecting myself to the general population. And who knows, it could be some sort of some event could happen to cause local civil unrest. Definitely you don't want to get involved in that, because that's just asking for trouble. So anyway, I hope you're all having a great weekend, and I think I'm going to wrap it up for today and go in and have a little late lunch, and I'll talk to you all later. Bye.